Why is it that every time someone mentions a round face, the advice is always the same? Just get a bob. Like that's the magical fix. No matter your age, bone structure, or whether your hair actually agrees. I've had bobs, plural. Some made me feel sleek and sculpted. Others? Let's just say I spent an entire summer avoiding side angles. The wrong bob can puff your cheeks, chop your neck in half, and make your glasses look twice the size. It's not the style that's the problem. It's the shape, the length, and how it meets your face. Because over 60, your features soften. Your jaw isn't as defined. You might want volume, but not bulk. And when your face already leans round, the last thing you need is a haircut that adds width or shortens your profile. But when the bob is cut intelligently, when the line lifts instead of flattens, or the parting gently shifts the eye upward, that's when everything starts to click. Your jaw looks more refined, your neck seems longer, and the haircut stops announcing itself because it's working with your face, not against it. Now I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. I love knowing where all these gorgeous, round-faced rebels are tuning in from. So let's dive in, starting with the one bob that's built to elongate, not emphasize. Let's start with something bold in shape, but subtle in effect. The kind of cut that changes how your whole face reads without shouting about it. Meet the angled bob with a side part. It's one of those rare styles that gives structure, slims the face, and makes your profile feel just a little more refined. Here's what it looks like. The back is slightly shorter, tucked toward the nape, while the front drops on an angle, landing right around the jawline or even lower if you want drama. But the real secret is the side part. That simple shift off-center visually breaks the face's symmetry, pulling the eye diagonally across your features. That's what creates the illusion of length. For round faces, that diagonal flow is gold. Instead of slicing the face horizontally, which can make cheeks look fuller, the cut draws everything upward and inward. It elongates the neckline, defines the jaw, and instantly makes your bone structure feel more intentional. And the beauty of this cut is that it doesn't need to be pinned straight to work. If your hair has some bend or soft curl, it still holds the shape beautifully. In fact, a little movement can make it even better. Just avoid adding volume at the cheeks. Keep it sleek at the sides and let the line do the lifting. When you talk to your stylist, ask for a subtle angle, not a steep slope, unless you want high contrast. The back should taper in gently, not stack. And make sure they place the side part at your natural cowlick or just above the arch of your brow. That's where the visual magic starts. I had a client once who swore her face looked like a dinner plate in photos. We gave her this angled bob, parted it just enough, and the next time she came in, she said, "I finally like my side profile again. It's structured but elegant, confident but controlled. And it doesn't just flatter, it reshapes the way your face enters a room." But what if you want something a little softer, maybe with layers and movement, and just enough fringe to flirt? You'll want to see what's next. But maybe you want something with a little more softness, a shape that skims, not sculpts, something that feels gentle around the jaw, but still gives your face definition. That's where the layered chin-length bob with wispy bangs works its quiet magic. This cut floats right at the chin. No sharp drop, no heavy lines. Just soft, controlled layers that hug the lower face, while the fringe breaks up the forehead without boxing it in. The bangs are wispy, not full, not blunt, which means they whisper across the brows instead of hiding them. That alone can change how open your expression feels. It's especially flattering if you've noticed your cheeks are fuller or your features more rounded with age. The way the layers frame just below the cheekbones gives subtle lift without calling attention to the roundness. And those light bangs, They shift the focus upward, to the eyes, drawing balance from the top down. It's a beautiful choice if your hair has medium density and a bit of wave. For straighter textures, a soft undercurl with a round brush adds body. For wavier hair, let the natural bend shape the layers. The key is to keep the weight light, not too much thickness around the ears, or it can widen the face again. Tell your stylist you want feathered layering around the jaw and a broken-up fringe, not a solid one. A dry cut can help them see exactly where the movement happens around your face. One client told me, "I just wanted to stop looking round, without looking severe." This gave her that sweet spot, gentle structure, visible eyes, and a cut that made her feel seen instead of styled. It's romantic, low maintenance, and quietly flattering. But if you're craving more structure and a little architectural drama, the next one brings the lift where you least expect it. Most people assume volume adds width, especially on a round face. But here's the trick. When the volume is above the cheekbones, it doesn't widen. It lifts. This is the genius of the stacked bob with volume at the crown, a cut that uses shape, not bulk, to redefine your silhouette. It's shortest at the nape, gradually lengthening toward the chin, but the real magic happens in the back. The stacking creates a built-in crown lift, adding height and structure without puffing out the sides. From the front, your face looks longer. From the profile, sharper, sleeker, more sculpted. And for women over 60, especially those with softening features, this kind of engineered lift can change the whole vibe. It brings back angles without harshness, makes the neck feel longer, and gives your head that upright energy. No teasing, no hairspray helmet required. It works beautifully on straight to wavy hair. Even finer textures benefit from the stacking because it builds form from within. Ask your stylist to stack in layers that lift from the root, not bulk up the middle. The crown should feel light, but structured. You want curve, not collapse. If you're nervous about sharp angles, this cut can be softened with a longer front or even a side-swept fringe. But the essence of it is balance. Volume on top, shape below, and nothing heavy around the cheeks. I once had a woman say, "I feel like my face is sliding downward." This gave her gravity in reverse. She walked out taller, not just in posture, but in presence. It's the kind of cut that doesn't just flatter a round face, it repositions it. And if that sounds too structured for your taste, don't worry. The next cut eases everything back down without losing that lift. So far, we've lifted, we've softened. But what if you want a bob that strikes right in the middle? Clean enough to feel modern, soft enough to feel wearable. That's where the inverted bob with subtle layers makes its quiet entrance. This cut curves gently, shorter in the back, dipping forward to graze the jaw or just below. But unlike a dramatic stacked bob, this one plays it cool. The layers are discreet, almost invisible, carved just enough to guide movement without creating bulk. It's the kind of cut that follows your natural face shape and quietly edits it, not overcorrects. What makes it especially flattering on round faces is that inward curve. Instead of pushing volume out toward the ears, the cut tucks it in. Your profile looks neater. Your jawline feels more deliberate. And if your hair has any natural wave, those subtle layers let it bend inward like it knows exactly what it's doing. This bob is especially kind to salt and pepper or silver hair. The layering helps light catch at different angles, giving dimension without heavy styling. It also works across textures: soft straight, loose waves, or barely there curls. Just be sure your stylist doesn't overlayer near the crown or cheeks. This is about contour, not cutouts. If you want something refined but not too crisp, ask for a softly inverted line with minimal internal layering. The back should be clean but not shaved. The front should feel floaty. like it's tracing your face rather than sitting on it. One of my clients called this her grown-up bob. She wanted something classic, but not boring. We gave her this shape, and she came back saying, "I feel like I've edited myself, but in the best way." It's modern, modest, and quietly powerful. And if you're ready to let things down a little, literally, the next look gives you length without the weight. Sometimes the smartest way to flatter a round face isn't by sculpting it, it's by opening it up. That's the quiet brilliance of the shoulder-length lob with face-framing layers. This cut lands just at or slightly below the shoulders, with long, gentle layers that drift toward the chin. It's longer than a classic bob, but still shaped, which means it moves with your face instead of dragging it down. The beauty is in the balance. Length without heaviness, framing without crowding. What makes it especially flattering on rounder faces is how those layers are placed. They start high, around the cheeks or temples, and draw a soft line inward. That soft diagonal creates the illusion of contour without cutting in. And because it's longer, you get that elegant swing near the collarbone, which pulls the whole silhouette downward in the best way. If your hair is straight to wavy, this cut builds natural volume without making your face wider. For curly or frizz-prone hair, layering needs to be delicate, not to control the curl, but to let it fall just right around the face. Ask your stylist to avoid layering under the chin. It can thicken the wrong area. The shape should elongate, not fill out. Styling-wise, this cut loves air drying with a bit of texture cream or a loose blowout with movement at the ends. It's casual, but polished. Grown up without looking done. A woman once told me she hated her hair long, but hated it short even more. We gave her this lob, and she said, "Now I feel like myself, just sharper." It's soft, versatile, and gives you presence without shouting. And now that you've seen how a bob can shape your face instead of shrink it, there's one final note to leave you with. A round face doesn't need fixing, it needs framing. And the right bob, not the one in a magazine, but the one built for your proportions, can change everything. These styles weren't about chasing youth, they were about precision. Curve where you need it, lift where it flatters, softness where it matters. Because after 60, the best haircuts don't just echo who you were, they reflect who you've grown into. You don't have to pick the shortest one or the trendiest one. You just need the one that meets your face in the right places and lets you feel like the shape was always meant to be there. So if one of these cuts surprised you or reminded you of how good your jawline actually is, let us know in the comments. You never know who else needs to hear that a round face can absolutely rock a bob. And if you want more beauty that respects where you are now, not where you used to be, go ahead and subscribe. We're just getting started. Thanks for watching. And remember, round is a shape, and it deserves a cut that honors it.